When making a race car, you really want to start with something that was already designed with performance in mind. You know, like a 911 or the Mustang. Hell, even a Miata would do well. What you don't want is a 7-seater minivan. Converting that would just be impossible.
Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Are you sure about that?
Well, I'll be damned. And guess what, guys? That isn't even the worst example. Hey guys, Stipe here with a list of the most unlikely cars to ever have entered a race. Let's go, go, go! Number 7, Mercedes 300 SEL. Mercedes S-Class is a full-size, full-fat, full luxury four-door sedan. Always has been. But the one thing it never has been is good on a racetrack. Wrong. The idea to create this red pig, as it was later nicknamed, was born soon after the introduction of a V8 engine in the 1967 S-Class. It's that same 6.3 from Tito's limo, and Mercedes chose it because it was smoother than the existing straight 6, not because it would turn the S-Class into a luxury muscle car. But it did. This S-Benz was as quick as a V12 Ferrari, so naturally AMG thought about racing it. And so they gave it a roll cage, the biggest tires possible, and of course even more engine. The V8 was enlarged from a 6.3 to a 6.8, while the power grew from 250 to 430. That was a lot, as was soon demonstrated at the 24-hour of Spa. The Red Pig was easily the fastest car on the track, but you should also realize it was the heaviest and with the biggest appetite. It would do a few laps, it would overtake everyone, and then rush back to the pits for refueling and some new tires. You do that for 24 hours and finish second. Hey, that's pretty good.
Pretty dang good, lads! Yeah!
Sadly, the change in rules meant that the Big Benz couldn't compete for much longer. So what do you do with a useless race car? Put it in a museum? No, you use it to test fighter jet tires. But that's a story for a different video. Maybe. Comment down below if you want to see it. Number 6, Porsche 959 is the Bugatti Veyron of the late 1980s. It was the fastest and by far the most complicated car of its time. It also cost more to produce than what they were selling it for, and lastly, both of these were conceived by the same man, Dr. Ferdinand Piëch. Where they are different is that Porsche was originally designed for Group B rallying. I'm sorry, what? Yes, this ultimate 80s hypercar wasn't meant to sit pretty in front of some 5-star hotel, but to tumble around the most gruesome roads in the world. The fact that it would do also nearly 200 miles per hour was just a happy accident. Think about it. Why else did it have that super advanced suspension and an all-wheel drive system that sends the power to whichever wheel has the most grip? Why does the road car have a special gear just for off-road? Rallying! That's your answer. Sadly, before the 959 development was finished, something else finished first, the Group B itself. It was just too fast, too dangerous, and too deadly. Okay, Porsche thought, let's do something even more dangerous then. Let's take it to Paris-Dakar. So for those who don't know, that's not a race, that's survival horror. Imagine flat out for 18 days and over 8,600 miles of not much else but harsh wilderness. Your next checkpoint is some village in the middle of nowhere. So, fingers crossed that we'll see you there. Bye-bye, good luck. It's a race that killed many drivers and even more proper off-roaders, so what chance did this Porsche really have? Well, it finished first, second, and sixth. Damn, not bad. Not bad at all. Number 5, NASCAR Camaro at Le Mans. When it comes to circuit racing, it's impossible to find two events more different from each other than NASCAR's Daytona 500 and the 24 Hours of Le Mans. One is all about turning left, bumping into other cars, and French kissing your own sister.
She's my sister.
Whereas the other is pushing the limits of racing technologies for 24 hours straight while being in France. And look at the cars. This one has more wings than a KFC bucket, while the other doesn't even have real headlights. And while the Le Mans cars probably could do well at the Daytona, it simply wouldn't work the other way around. A stock car would just be in everyone's way.
Woo! Woo! Woo!
Well, that's not exactly what ended up happening. Team Garage 56 showed up with the NASCAR's next-gen ZL1 and surprised everyone by out-qualifying the entire GTE field, plus some LMP2 cars as well. Okay, I should come clean and just say that this NASCAR Camaro wasn't exactly NASCAR spec, you could say. It had bigger brakes, much more aero with these dive planes fins and a bigger spoiler, also working headlights, a detuned engine for longevity's sake, and much, much more. Pause now if you're that interested. Anyway, even with all these changes, the ZL1 sadly wasn't in spec with all of Le Mans classes either. It was basically racing itself, so why?
It's pretty fun to drive.
And it was fun for 20 hours until the gearbox gave up. It then took over an hour to replace it, but by then the Camaro had fallen to 39th overall. Still not bad for a car that only turns left, right? Number 4, Toyota Prius. Compared to the super strict rules of endurance racing, things are much more relaxed in the Japanese Super GT series. Want to run a V10 European exotic? Sure! A twin-turbo supercar Slayer? You can. A V8 swapped GT86? Not a problem. Hell, there was even a team with a Prius.
What?
This all works because Super GT has this balance of performance rule, which adds extra weight and restricts the power of OP cars until they're all pretty much evenly matched. And that's how you get scenes like this. Yes, the hell just froze over because a Prius overtook a Lambo right there, but you shouldn't be so surprised by that. Yes, the Lambo was detuned, but the Prius might have been even more. This is no eco-friendly Gretelmobile, but a highly modified racing version with a mid-mounted hybrid V8 from the Toyota TS030 LMP1 car. It is a purpose-built racer that's only made to look like a Prius as a sort of a guerrilla marketing thing. It was a way to sell more road cars and to win over the fans. What it wasn't, and in no way, was an underdog. This caused a bit of a problem for race organizers. What's next? We're gonna start allowing F1 cars dressed as minivans?
You will?
So a new rule was introduced. Both the road and the race cars have to have the same engine position. A simple rule, but enough to throw a Prius off balance. This latest one, you should know, sucked, which is why, for the next season, the team chose to run a GR86 instead. Number 3, Lada 110. Designed in 1987 and produced all the way until 2015, this Russian saloon was, as you might expect, not the greatest car ever, but hey, it was cheaper than walking, so it sold well. And that would be all there was to say about this car if it wasn't for a bunch of Russian race car drivers who, in 2007, decided to form a racing team.
Hey guys, what are you doing this weekend?
At first, they ran a BMW 320 Si, but I guess that car was... At first, they ran a BMW 320. A BMW 320? Yeah, that's right. At first, they ran a BMW 320. At first, they ran a BMW M20. Fucking God-sucking bitches! At first, they ran a BMW 320 Si, but I guess that car just lacked a certain smell of vodka. Because for the next year, the Russian Bear Motorsports was back with the Lada 110. And yes, it was thoroughly upgraded and all, but this platform was from 1987, and it showed. Here's what it looked like next to all the other cars. And here's what it looked like on the leaderboard. Oh, not good. Still, seeing this homegrown car going head-to-head with some evil Western rivals must have sparked some patriotic flames at the Lada factory, because for the next year, they fully backed the team financially and even gave them the newest model to race with, the almighty Priora. Wait a minute, that's the same car, just with some new lights. This is still largely based on a 1987 model competing now in 2009. Jesus Christ! As expected, the results were pretty much the same as before, meaning that the Lada finished dead last in the Constructors' Championship. It wasn't even close, so the team simply decided to stay away from the WTCC until they had something more modern to race with. Can't really say that I blame them. Number 2, Peugeot 806. This minivan has to be one of the cleverest playing dumb situations in motorsport history. It started with Peugeot's marketing team brainstorming some ideas that would get everyone talking when someone jokingly answered, "Hey, what if we do something really stupid, like enter our 806 minivan in a race?" That would get us a lot of headlines for sure. And the marketing boss went like,
God damn it, Gump! You're a goddamn genius. That's the most outstanding answer I've ever heard.
and so one of these 806s was taken from the factory floor and then stripped naked until only the shell and the dashboard remained. Where kids used to go, there was a now web of reinforced roll bars. The engine, which was limited to 280 horsepower as per category rules, came from a 306 rally car, while the gearbox, suspension, brakes, and even the wheels were from a 405 MI16 Super Turismo. Despite being put together in just 2 months, it was a proper race car, and Peugeot was determined to demonstrate that at the 1995 24 Hours of Spa. Many laughed, but after it qualified 13th overall out of 54 cars and 3rd in its pro car class, it wasn't so funny anymore. The press loved it, and the fans too. As weird as it was seeing this minivan tower over every other car, it was also undeniably cool. Too bad that the 806 couldn't finish the race due to an engine failure, but honestly, it was one of those passed, failed successfully kind of situations. This whole thing was just a big ad, and as such, it worked extremely well. Anyway, before I reveal my number one, here are 3 more race cars which had unlikely origins. Can you guess them? Let me know in the comments. And now, here we go. Number 1, Rolls-Royce Corniche. You know how the greatest stories in life often start with, alcohol? Well, one such story happened in 1981 when 2 Frenchies, Thierry and Jean, got wasted on some wine and came up with a brilliant idea. "Hey, you have a Rolls-Royce Corniche?" "Yeah." "Well, let's take it on a Paris-Dakar rally." "Son of a beach, I'm in." The crazy thing is, they were still serious about it even after they all sobered up, but also aware that while rich, they'd need a sponsor, which they got, and also that the Rolls needed some serious upgrades. They tinkered and tinkered until about 90% of the car was changed. The silky smooth Rolls V8 was swapped for a small block from a Corvette. The whole chassis and the suspension were borrowed from a Land Cruiser, and lastly, the body, while looking like a real Corniche, was actually a fiberglass copy with the roll bars to support it. And the only thing that remained untouched were the lights, the windows, parts of the interior, and the grille. So was this still a Rolls? And more importantly, was it any good? Well, out of 300 cars that entered, at the halfway point, the rugged Rolls was 13th, which surprised everyone. But then, during the second half, it crashed into the only tree in the desert and had to limp its way to the finish. Shame, but if you ask Thierry and Jean, their only regret was that in an effort to make it as light as possible, they ended up getting rid of the drinking cabinet. You know, I bet these guys had more cool drinking stories to tell besides this one with the Rolls. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. Thank you for watching, and thank you to my supporters, and I'll see you in the next one. Cut! And I will always love you.